Hi everyone, and welcome back to Heimler's History. Now, since we're in the era of Jefferson, I would be remiss if I didn't mention some of the developments that were going on in the Supreme Court during this time, because they were massive and forever after would shape the role of the court in American history. So, let's get to it.
It's time to kick it old school.
Now, everything I'm going to say in this brief lecture revolves around a single personality, Chief Justice John Marshall. Now, he wasn't the first justice of the Supreme Court, but he was certainly the most significant. Now, all I'd like to do is mention the most significant case of this period, Marbury versus Madison, and the details of the case are not as significant as what the case did forever after in American political history. So let's look at Marbury versus Madison. So while John Adams was president, Congress created 16 regional federal judgeships around the nation. And according to the Constitution, it is the president's job to appoint judges to federal courts. So as the minutes ticked away on the last day of Adams' presidency, he wrote appointment letters to stuff those open seats full of Federalist judges, which he hoped would slow down the progress of Jefferson's ideals. So Jefferson got into office the next day and found out about this, and he ordered his Secretary of State, James Madison, not to deliver the appointments. One of those judges who got shafted was William Marbury, and when he heard that Jefferson was not going to deliver his appointment letter, he sued the federal government for its delivery. So Marbury comes before the Marshall Court and argues his case on the precedent of the Judiciary Act of 1789. You don't have to remember that, but it's important for the story. Marshall knew that even if he agreed with Marbury, which he did, he couldn't force the president to deliver Marbury's appointment. So Marshall ruled against Marbury in favor of Madison. But here's where it gets saucy. When Marshall wrote his official explanation of the ruling, he did something that nobody expected him to do. He said that he ruled against Marbury precisely because the law on which he based his case, the Judiciary Act of 1789, was unconstitutional. Does that blow your mind? Okay, I'm getting word that that's not blowing anybody's mind. Okay then, let me help you taste the sauce. Up to this point, nobody had agreed on who would be the final and authoritative interpreter of the Constitution. So in this case, John Marshall stands up and says, "That's me." So in doing this, Marshall strengthened the power of the Supreme Court by establishing the precedent that when all is said and done, it is the Supreme Court that is the final and authoritative interpreter of the Constitution. You tasting that sauce now? And during his time as Chief Justice, Marshall continued to hand down similar decisions, and every single one of them helped strengthen the power of the Supreme Court. So what you need to remember is that when Marshall began his time as Justice, the Supreme Court looked like this. But after his time as Justice, the Supreme Court looked like this. We'll have much more to say about John Marshall later, but that's all for now, and I'll see you next time.